Part 1. The Breaking Point. The message arrived without warning. Captain Sarah Martinez was drinking her morning coffee on Luna Station when every screen around her flashed white. In the farming colonies of Proxima, families were sitting down for dinner. On the mining ships near Jupiter, crews were changing shifts. Across human space, in every home, every office, every ship, the same thing happened. Every screen turned white. Then came the message. The hologram appeared, a tall, silver-skinned alien with 4 eyes and a voice like ice. Ambassador Thelkon of the Galaxy Council. His face showed no emotion, no warmth, just cold authority. Humans of Earth and colonies, he began. The Galaxy Council has made a final decision. For the safety of the galaxy, all human children under the age of 15 must be surrendered to Council authority within 30 days. Sarah's coffee cup slipped from her hand. Around her, other humans stood frozen, staring. The ambassador continued. Your species has proven too aggressive, too unpredictable. Your children will be raised in proper council facilities. They will learn peace. They will learn obedience. They will learn to be civilized. The hologram flickered with images. Alien schools, alien teachers, human children in gray uniforms, their faces blank and empty. This is not a request, Thelkon said. This is a requirement. 30 days. Comply, or face consequences. The screens went dark. For a moment, there was only silence. Complete, total silence. Then the screaming started. Sarah ran to the observation deck. Below her, in the station's residential section, she heard crying, shouting, parents holding their children tight, the sound of breaking glass, the sound of fear turning into rage. Her communicator buzzed. Messages flooded in from across human space. Mars colony. Is this real? Europa base. They can't do this. New Beijing station. Over my dead body. Sarah's hands shook. She thought of her nephew on Earth, little Tommy, only 7 years old. She thought of the council taking him away, teaching him to forget his family, to forget being human. Her stomach twisted with rage. But she was military. She had discipline. She took a breath and checked the official channels. Every human government was in emergency session. Every military base was on alert. Every communication network was burning with messages. Then Sarah remembered something. She pulled up her old history files. 200 years ago, humanity had reached the stars. They found the Galaxy Council, thousands of alien species all following strict rules. The Council had power, technology, weapons beyond imagination, and they had demands. First, they said humans were too violent. Reduce your military, they ordered. Humanity complied. Ships were scrapped, weapons were destroyed, or so the Council thought. Then they demanded territory. These star systems are too valuable for humans, they said. Humanity gave them up. Moved to smaller, harsher worlds. The Council demanded taxes. Unfair amounts that kept humanity poor. Humanity paid. They demanded technology. Every human invention shared freely with the Council. Humanity agreed year after year, demand after demand. And humanity bent the knee. They compromised. They obeyed. They played nice. The galaxy thought humans were weak, docile, broken. But Sarah knew the truth. She had served in the Civilian Defense Force, a fancy name for what was really a hidden military. She knew about the weapons stored in fake asteroids, the warships disguised as cargo haulers, the soldiers who retired but stayed ready. Humanity wasn't weak. Humanity was patient. And patient things, when finally pushed too far, can be terrifying. Sarah's communicator buzzed again. A coded message. Eyes only. From Admiral Chen, the ghost everyone thought had retired 15 years ago. The message was simple. Meeting. 1 hour. Tell no one. Sarah smiled grimly. It was starting. on Earth. In a small apartment in Tokyo, a father named Kenji held his daughter. She was crying, not understanding why Mommy was so scared. He stroked her hair and whispered promises. Nobody takes you away. Nobody. In his closet, behind the winter clothes, was a sealed box. Inside that box was his old military gear, the gear he said he'd thrown away. The gear he swore he'd never need again. He was wrong. On Mars, in the red dust valleys, old mining equipment suddenly powered up. Equipment that hadn't moved in decades, but it wasn't mining equipment anymore. Those drills, weapons, those haulers, troop transports, those processing plants. Command centers. The Council had been watching humanity for 200 years, but they never looked carefully. They saw what they wanted to see, a beaten species too afraid to fight back. They were about to learn a terrible lesson. Across human space, in 1,000 hidden bases, in 1,000,000 quiet homes, the same thing was happening. People were making a choice. A simple choice. No. The Council gave humanity 30 days to surrender their children, but humanity had a different deadline in mind. 24 hours. That's all the waiting that was left. The Galaxy Council had crossed the line, and humanity was about to snap. Part 2. The silent preparation. The Galaxy Council expected panic. They expected begging. They expected humanity to flood their communication channels with desperate pleas for mercy. Instead, they got silence. Complete, absolute silence. In the Grand Council chamber, a massive structure floating in neutral space, Ambassador Thelkon stood before the Central Committee. Around him sat representatives from 300 alien species. All of them waited for humanity's response. "It has been 12 hours, said Councillor Vrax, an insect-like creature with compound eyes. "Why haven't the humans contacted us?" Thelkon's 4 eyes blinked in confusion. I don't know. All our communication channels are open, but they're not using them." "Perhaps they're organizing their compliance," suggested another councillor, a floating jellyfish-like being, "preparing to hand over their young." But Councillor Zephix, an old reptilian who had lived for 3 centuries, felt his scales prickle with unease. He had studied humans longer than most. "No," he said quietly. "Humans are never this quiet. When they're loud, they're harmless. When they're silent," he didn't finish the sentence. He didn't need to. Across human space, something was happening. Something the Council couldn't see. On Luna Station, Captain Sarah Martinez stood in a room that officially didn't exist. Around her were 50 other officers. All of them wore civilian clothes. All of them had retired years ago. Admiral Chen stood at the front. She was 70 years old, with grey hair and sharp eyes that missed nothing. She had commanded humanity's forces during the last Council conflict, the one where humans surrendered their military. "Status report," she said simply. A young officer stepped forward. "All Ghost Fleet vessels are operational. 200 warships fully armed, ready to deploy. Arsenal stations. 47 hidden bases activated. Weapon systems online. Council sensors still show them as empty asteroids. Special forces. 50,000 operatives ready. All positioned near Council military installations." Admiral Chen nodded slowly. For 20 years, humanity had played a dangerous game. They pretended to disarm while building a secret military. They pretended to be weak while growing stronger. Every mining colony had hidden weapons. Every cargo ship could transform into a warship. Every retired soldier was actually on standby. The Council had demanded humanity's military be dismantled. Humanity obeyed on paper. But humans had learned something important from Earth's own history. Trust is good, but preparation is better. "What about civilian evacuation?" Chen asked. "All children and families moved to secure locations, deep underground or in the outer colonies. Council can't reach them without going through us first." Chen allowed herself a small smile. "Good. Very good." On Mars, in a canyon called Olympus Deep, something impossible was happening. The canyon had been empty for decades. Just red dust and rocks, or so the Council's satellites showed. But now, the dust was moving. Massive doors opened in the canyon walls. Out-rolled vehicles that shouldn't exist, tanks, mobile artillery, troop carriers. All of it supposedly scrapped 20 years ago. Commander Jackson stood watching. He was a big man, a former Marine who now worked as a mining supervisor. He touched his communicator, Hangar Bay 7 to command. All units deployed. We're ready. Similar scenes played out across human territory. On Europa, ice sheets cracked open to reveal submarine warships. Near Jupiter, abandoned space stations suddenly blazed with power. In the asteroid belt, rocks split apart to show weapons platforms inside. Humanity had spent 2 decades preparing for this moment. Every compromise with the Council had been calculated. Every surrender had been strategic. They gave up what the Council could see. They kept what the Council couldn't imagine. Back on Luna Station, Admiral Chen addressed her officers. "The Council thinks we're helpless," she said. "They think we'll just hand over our children because we have no choice." "They're wrong." She pulled up a holographic display. It showed the entire galaxy with thousands of tactical markers. For 200 years we played their game. We followed their rules. We bent the knee because we weren't ready to stand up. But every year we got stronger. Every compromise bought us time. Time to build. Time to plan. Time to prepare. She zoomed in on Earth and the human colonies. They want our children. They can try to take them, but they'll have to go through every human in the galaxy first. Through every parent, every soldier, every single person who refuses to surrender what matters most. The room was silent. Every officer understood what this meant. War, real war. Not the small conflicts of the past, but total war against the most powerful force in the galaxy. "Admiral," someone asked quietly, "can we win?" Chen smiled. It wasn't a happy smile. It was the smile of someone who had waited 20 years for this moment. "The Council has bigger ships, more soldiers, better technology," she admitted. "But they've been at peace for centuries. They've forgotten how to really fight. Humanity, we've never forgotten. We practiced in secret. We trained in the shadows. And we have something they don't have." "What's that, ma'am?" "A reason to fight. They fight for pride and power. We fight for our children, for our families, for our future. Tell me, which side do you think will fight harder?" No one answered. They didn't need to. Everyone in that room knew. When you threaten what humans love most, you don't get surrender. You get war. Admiral Chen checked the chronometer. 18 hours since the Council's message. "Send the signal," she ordered. "Activate all units. Move all pieces into position. But stay silent. No communications the Council can intercept. No movements they can track." "And when do we respond to their demand, Admiral?" Chen's eyes were cold as space itself. "We respond when the time is right. Not with words, with action. The Council set a deadline of 30 days. But we have a different timeline. In 6 hours, we show them exactly what humanity thinks of their demands." Across human space, the message spread through encrypted channels. Soldiers checked their weapons. Pilots warmed up their ships. Parents kissed their children and prepared to defend them. The Council chamber was still waiting for humanity's response. Still confused by the silence, Councillor Zephyx watched the communication screens, all of them blank from human space. His old instincts screamed warnings. "Something is wrong," he said. "Humans don't go quiet. They argue. They negotiate. They make noise. This silence. This is wrong." Ambassador Thelcon waved a dismissive hand. "You worry too much. They're a broken species. What can they possibly do?" Zephyx didn't answer, but he thought about human history, about a species that survived on a death world, that climbed from caves to space in 10,000 years, that never ever gave up when backed into a corner. The Council was about to get their answer, but not the one they expected. The countdown was running. 6 hours remained, and humanity was ready. The answer. When the Galaxy Council's deadline hour arrived, they expected surrender documents. They expected humanity to beg for mercy. They expected broken spirits and defeated voices. They got Admiral Chen. The Council chamber fell silent as the holographic display activated. Every councillor in the vast room turned to watch. 300 species, thousands of representatives, all waiting to see humanity grovel. Instead, a human woman appeared. She wore a military uniform, crisp, dark blue with medals covering her chest. Her grey hair was pulled back tight. Her eyes were cold and hard as diamonds. Ambassador Thelcon's 4 eyes widened in shock. What is this? We demanded civilian leadership, not military. I am humanity's answer, Admiral Chen interrupted. Her voice cut through the chamber like a blade. You wanted a response? Here it is. No. The chamber erupted in confused chatter. Councillor Vrax leaned forward. You refuse? We refuse, Chen said simply. We will not surrender our children. Not now, not ever. Not to you. Not to anyone. Thelkon's face twisted with anger. You have no choice, human. You disbanded your military. You have no ships, no weapons, no... You really believe that? Chen smiled. It was not a kind smile. You really thought we destroyed everything? That we left ourselves completely defenseless? She pressed a button. The hologram changed. Suddenly, 300 screens around the council chamber lit up with live feeds. Each one showed something impossible. Hidden bases activating across human space. Warships emerging from asteroid fields. Weapons platforms powering up. Entire fleets appearing from behind gas giants where they'd been hiding for years. What? What is this? Thelkon whispered. This is what you didn't see, Chen said. For 20 years you watched us dismantle our military. You watched us destroy ships. You watched us surrender. But you only saw what we wanted you to see. The feeds kept coming. More ships, more bases, more weapons. The numbers were staggering. That mining colony on Europa? Submarine warship base? Those cargo haulers near Mars? Disguised destroyers? That asteroid research station? Weapons platform with enough firepower to level a planet? Councillor Zefix, the old reptilian, closed his eyes. He had known. Deep down, he had known. You thought we were weak because we compromised, Chen continued. You thought we were helpless because we obeyed. You were wrong on both counts. We weren't weak. We were patient. We weren't helpless. We were planning. This is a bluff, Thelkon shouted. You cannot possibly... The screens changed again. This time they showed council military installations. Their own bases, their own ships, and surrounding each one were human forces, locked and loaded, ready to fire. Right now, Chen said quietly, we have weapons aimed at every major council military facility in this sector. We positioned them while you slept, while you celebrated your power over us, while you thought we were too afraid to resist. The council chamber was dead silent now. You have a choice, Chen said. Back down. Withdraw your demand. Leave our children alone, or we start shooting. You wouldn't dare. Thelkon's voice cracked. We have laws. We have rules. You have rules for everyone except yourselves, Chen interrupted. For 200 years we followed your rules. Paid your taxes. Gave up our territory. Shared our technology. We played fair while you took everything you wanted. She leaned forward, and her eyes blazed with controlled fury. But threatening our children, that's where we draw the line. You could have had humanity as friends. As allies, we would have worked with you, helped you. But you chose to treat us like slaves. You chose to take what matters most to us. This is an act of war. Vrax shouted. No, Chen said coldly. War is what happens next if you don't back down. You cannot win against the entire council. Thelkon was almost screaming now. We have thousands of species, millions of ships. We will crush, then crush us, Chen said simply. Try, but know this, we won't go quietly. Every ship you destroy will cost you 10 of yours. Every base you attack will fight to the last human. We don't have your numbers. We don't have your technology. But we have something you've forgotten. What? Zefix asked quietly. We have something worth dying for, Chen said. Can you say the same? Will your soldiers die for council pride? Will they sacrifice themselves for your arrogance? Because our people will die for their children. Every single one of us. The feeds on the screen shifted again. This time they showed human colonies, not military bases. Homes, schools, parks. Children playing while their parents stood guard, weapons in hand. We don't want war, Chen said, and for the first time her voice softened slightly. We truly don't. War is hell. War is death. War is suffering. We know this better than most. Our history is written in blood. She paused, letting that sink in. But we will go to war before we surrender our children. We will burn the galaxy down before we let you take them. So choose carefully, Council. Choose very carefully. Thelkon was breathing hard, his silver skin flushed darker with rage and fear. This is outrageous. This is humanity's answer, Chen said. Now here's what happens next. We're going to demonstrate our sincerity. Demonstrate? Vrax asked nervously. Chen nodded to someone off-screen. Across the galaxy, simultaneously, human forces struck. Not with killing blows. Not with destruction. With precision. Every Council military base in human territory suddenly went dark. Their weapon systems disabled. Their shields collapsed. Their communications cut. No casualties, no deaths. Just a message written in disabled technology. We could have killed you, but we didn't. In the Council chamber, alarms started blaring. Reports flooded in from panicking officers. 12 major bases offline. 40 warships disabled. 100 automated defense platforms shut down, all in the space of 60 seconds. How? Thelcon stared at the reports. This is impossible. We had 20 years to study your systems, Chen said. 20 years to find weaknesses. 20 years to plan. Every piece of technology you made us share, we learned from it. Improved it. Found its flaws. She stood up, and every camera in the Council chamber focused on her. This is your one warning. Your only warning. Withdraw the demand. Leave our children alone. Walk away. Do that, and this ends here. No war, no death. Just peace. And if we refuse? Thelcon asked, though his voice shook. Chen's face turned to stone. Then we stop showing mercy. Then we stop disabling your ships and start destroying them. Then you learn what humanity looks like when we truly fight. When we stop holding back. When we fight not for territory or pride, but for our children. She leaned close to the camera. We survived ice ages and plagues. We climbed out of caves to reach the stars. We turned a death world into a garden. We never ever give up when something matters. And our children, they're all that matters. The hologram flickered. You have 24 hours to decide, Chen said. Withdraw the demand or face the consequences. Choose wisely, Council. Because we've already chosen. We choose our children. Every time. No matter the cost. The hologram vanished. The Council chamber erupted in chaos. Councillors shouting. Alarms blaring. Reports of disabled bases still flooding in. Thelcon slumped in his seat, his silver skin pale. What have we done? Councillor Zephyr stood slowly. We poked the sleeping bear, he said quietly. We threatened a species that survived by never surrendering. We thought their patience was weakness. We were wrong, so what do we do? Vrax asked, panic in his voice. The old reptilian looked around the chamber, at the confused faces, the frightened voices. The proud council brought low by one species they had thought was beaten. We back down, he said, or we go to war with a species that just proved they're willing to die for their children. A species that planned for 20 years to fight us. A species that strikes without warning and fights without mercy when pushed too far. But our authority, Thelcon protested weakly, our power, means nothing if we're dead, Zephyr said flatly. The chamber fell silent again. Outside in human space, millions of people held their breath, waiting for the Council's answer. Admiral Chen sat in her command center, surrounded by her officers. They had made their move, shown their hand, proved their strength. Now came the hardest part, waiting. Admiral, someone asked quietly, what if they don't back down? Chen looked at the screen showing Earth, beautiful and blue in the darkness. She thought of her granddaughter down there, playing, laughing, innocent. Then we fight, she said simply, and we don't stop fighting until they learn. Our children are not negotiable. Not now, not ever. The countdown began. 24 hours for the Council to decide, 24 hours to choose between pride and survival. The galaxy held its breath. The war humanity didn't want. The galaxy. Council chose pride over wisdom. 18 hours after Admiral Chen's ultimatum, the Council's response came, not through diplomatic channels, not through negotiations, through weapons fire. Captain Sarah Martinez was on patrol near Titan when the alarm screamed. Her sensor operator shouted, "Contact!" Multiple Council warships dropping out of hyperspace. How many? Sarah demanded. 50. No, 70. Still counting. Ma'am, it's an entire battle fleet. Sarah's blood ran cold, then turned to ice-hot rage. The Council hadn't backed down. They'd escalated. Battle stations, she ordered. Send the alert to all human forces. It started. The Council's target was New Hope Colony, a farming settlement on Titan with 15,000 people. Mostly families, mostly children. The Council's plan was simple. Hit fast, hit hard, take the children by force, and dare humanity to respond. They thought New Hope would be easy prey, a soft target to prove their power. They were wrong. As the Council fleet approached, New Hope looked defenseless. Just dome habitats on the frozen moon's surface. No visible weapons. No military presence. Admiral Corvan, commanding the Council fleet, smiled with satisfaction. "Prepare boarding parties," he ordered. "Secure all children under 15. Use force if the colonists resist." His weapons officer hesitated. "So this seems too easy. Where are the human defenses?" "They have none," Corvan said confidently. "They bluffed with old ships and disabled systems. Real combat? They're not ready for." The ice beneath New Hope exploded, not with destruction, with revelation. Massive cannons rose from hidden silos. Missile batteries emerged from fake storage buildings. And most shocking of all, the entire colony dome opened like a flower, revealing a hidden military base underneath. "Trap!" Someone screamed on the Council bridge, but it was too late. New Hope wasn't a farming colony. It was bait, and the Council had swallowed it whole. Human ships appeared from everywhere behind Titan, inside its rings, from the nearby moon Rhea. They'd been waiting in complete silence. Powered down, invisible, Captain Sarah's ship, the Defiant, was among them. "All ships," came Admiral Chen's voice over the command channel. "Weapons free. Target their engines and weapons only. Disable, don't destroy. Show them we could kill them, but we're choosing mercy." Sarah's crew worked with practiced precision. They'd trained for this moment for years in secret exercises disguised as mining operations. "Target locked," her weapons officer reported. "Fire," Sarah said. The Defiant's railguns spoke, solid projectiles moving at incredible speed. They punched through the lead Council ship's shield and shredded its engine core. The ship went dark, drifting alive but helpless. Across the battlefield, the same scene repeated. Human ships used EMP weapons, precision strikes, and coordinated attacks. Every shot calculated, every move practiced. The Council fleet had bigger ships, better shields, more advanced technology. But humanity had something better. They'd studied every Council species for 200 years. Knew their tactics, their weaknesses, their patterns. "They're trying to flank us," Sarah's tactical officer called. "Let them," Sarah said calmly. Springtrap Delta 7, hidden mines activated in the flanking route. Not explosive mines, EMP mines. They didn't kill. They just disabled every Council ship that passed through them. Within 20 minutes, the entire Council fleet was drifting, powerless, alive but defeated. Admiral Corvan stared at his dark screens in shock. "How? We have superior technology. Superior numbers. How did they? Because we don't fight fair," came a voice on his emergency channel. Admiral Chen's face appeared on his backup screen. "We fight smart. We fight prepared. And we've been preparing for this exact scenario for 20 years. You tricked us," Corvan whispered. "You attacked a colony full of children," Chen said, her voice cold as the void. "What did you expect? We could destroy your fleet right now, kill every one of you. But we won't. We're sending rescue ships. We'll repair your life support, give you supplies, then we'll send you home." "Why?" Corvan asked, genuinely confused. "Because we're not monsters," Chen said. "We told you, we don't want war. We want you to leave our children alone. Go back to the Council. Tell them what happened here. Tell them what happens when they threaten what we love most." The communication ended, but the war didn't. The Council couldn't let this humiliation stand. They attacked again, and again. Battle of Europa Station. Council sent elite shock troops. Humanity ambushed them with zero-gravity tactics the Council had never seen. Battle of the Asteroid Belt. Council tried to overwhelm human forces with numbers. Humanity turned the asteroids themselves into weapons, using mining charges to create devastating fields of debris. Battle of Mars Orbit. Council brought their most powerful dreadnought. Humanity swarmed it with hundreds of small, fast ships, like wolves bringing down a bear. Every battle, the same result. Council had strength. Humanity had strategy, but the Council was learning, adapting. The battles got harder. Costier. 3 months into the war, the fighting reached its turning point, the Battle of Proxima Station. This time the Council brought everything. 5 full battle fleets, atmospheric bombers, elite combat teams. They weren't trying to capture children anymore. They were trying to break humanity's will. Proxima Station was humanity's largest civilian center outside. Earth, 2 million people, families, scientists, teachers, children. Commander James Rodriguez commanded the defense. He had 50 ships against the Council's 500. "Sir," his executive officer said quietly, "we can't win this one. We should evacuate." James looked at the sensor display. The massive Council fleet approaching. His 50 ships, good ships, well-trained crews, but so few. "No evacuation," he said firmly. "Every ship we lose here is one less protecting Earth. We hold, we fight. We make them pay for every meter." The battle was brutal. Human ships fought with desperate courage. They used every trick, every tactic, every ounce of skill they had.